Ready? Are you ready? You should be ready. Day two. Day two, January the 2nd, 2024, chapter 2 of the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone, right here on the Millionaire Mindset Book Club. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to see you. Hope that yesterday was a positive day for you. Whether you worked, whether you didn't, it's up to you, right? It's up to you. Chapter 2, why the 10X Rule is vital. So, so this book, Tammy Bunnell is the one that first recommended this book to me, or recommended this book. Golly, it's been 9 years ago, I guess. One of the things that Grant Cardone says is that any client that he ever targeted, any client that he ever talked to, and when he says targeted, I don't know if you have ever reached out to Cardone Industries or Enterprises. Their sales staff is relentless. They're relentless. But he said any client that he ever targeted, any new sector of business that he ventured into, he said has always taken 10 times more mail, phone calls, emails, contacts than he had originally predicted. Right? He says even getting his wife to date him took 10 times more effort and energy than he had calculated. Right? But it was worth it. Right? It was worth it. When he opened his first business, he said he started his first business when he was 29 years old. And, most people don't go into business for themselves because they're, because they don't think that they can do it, or they don't think that they have the money or whatever. But, and a lot of times you'll see that when people do go into business, right? When people do go into business for themselves, I'm going to shut this monitor off. When people do go into business for themselves, what do they do first? They put money aside, right? They set money aside to, I'm going to open my own business. I'm going to start my own, I'm going to get my real estate license, but I'm going to keep working, right? And I'm going to put money aside until I can do it full time, right? You hear that all the time. So when he started his first business, right, at 29, he put aside 3 months worth of money, right? 3 months worth of money to do this business, right? And you see this in real estate all the time, right? That people have this expectation that they're going to get their real estate license and then it's going to be like this, right? And sometimes it is. Sometimes it is because everybody knows somebody who's getting ready to buy or sell a house, and people are going, well, I'm gonna buy a house, but I'll wait for you to get your license, right? And so you have a little bit of income, but you're not prepared, right? But people are not prepared. So anyway, he put aside 3 months worth of stuff. He said, I got 3 months worth of money over here, and he assumed that it would take 3 months to get to the income level of the job that he had before. You know how long it took him? 3 years, almost 3 years, 12 times longer than he had expected. And then he said he almost quit after 3 months. He almost quit after 3 months, not because of the money, but because of the disappointment, right? And the resistance, and it's like, man, I will never forget that listening to an agent one time, and she's a successful agent. She's not a superstar, but she's a successful agent. She supports herself and her family, and but I remember hearing her one day sitting in the office, just going, real estate is hard. Right. And just thinking, yeah, it is. Real estate is simple, but it's not easy. Sales, any kind of sales, is simple, but it's not easy, right? So anyway, Grant Cardone said, I almost quit, right? Almost quit after 3 months, not because of the money, but because of the amount of work that had to be put into it, how much resistance and how much disappointment he experienced, right? And he created in this 3 months, he created this list of reasons why this company's not going to work. And you can do that today. You can do that with any business. You can do that with any business today. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to get into real estate right now because of the economy, right? I'm not going to get into real estate right now because of interest rates. I'm not going to get into real estate right now because of whatever, right? You can create this huge list of reasons why it won't work. It doesn't matter what business it is. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It, even if you're trying to be an entrepreneur, right? You can come up with hundreds, thousands of reasons why it won't work, right? And he says that after spending so much time trying to figure out why things weren't working out, he said, I wonder, is it possible? Am I missing the answer entirely? And the reality is that he had never considered that he had simply incorrectly estimated what it would take to move a new product into the marketplace at the very beginning of the process, right? He presented a new idea, but it wasn't an idea that anybody had asked for, right? And he said he had limited funds, and so he wasn't able to hire people, and he couldn't afford to advertise. And you know what the biggest problem with real estate is, when you get into real estate, is obscurity, right? And then I think this comes from another one of Grant Cardone's books, right? But obscurity. Nobody knows who you are, right? And maybe you've been in this business. Maybe you've been in this business for a while, but who knows who you are, right? Do you have a very small circle of people who know who you are? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, right? So he didn't have the money to advertise, and he said that was unfortunate because nobody knew him. Nobody knew who he was. Nobody knew who his company was. He didn't know what he was doing. He was out there just on the phone. Somebody said, just pick up the phone and call, right? And so that's what was going to happen, right? He said if this was going to work, it would depend on his ability to increase his efforts, not his excuses. Think about that. If you are going to be successful, whatever it is that you're doing, it is going to depend on your ability to increase your efforts, not your excuses, right? And so he said once he quit trying to figure up all the wrong things, all the bad things, all the wrong reasons, then he committed to making his business work by increasing his efforts 10 times, right? And then he went back into the marketplace with the right estimation of effort, and he started seeing results, right? Instead of making 2 or 3 sales calls a day, he started doing 20 or 30, right? Instead of doing 2 or 3, he started doing 20 or 30, right? If you are trying to get a hold of people, you can't call. If I just call 1 or 2 people and then I quit, right? I'm probably not going to be uber successful, right? So he ramped it up. Instead of 2 or 3, he did 20 or 30. When he ramped up his commitment, when he aligned the correct levels of thought, right, and action, then the market started to respond to him, right? Sales is a numbers game, right? You have to talk to people, right? We get into the whole 4 disciplines of execution thing and the lead measures and lag measures, but that's a later book, right? That's a later book. So Then he said the market started responding to him, right? It was still hard and he still got disappointed from time to time, but he was getting 4 times the results from 10 times the effort, right? 4 times the results from 10 times the effort, right? If you underestimate the time, the energy, the effort necessary to do something, you're going to quit. I thought it was going to be easier, right? I thought it was going to be easier. You're going to quit in your mind, in your voice, in your posture, right? I'm telling you, if you ever get connected with Grant Cardone Industries or Grant Cardone Enterprises, which one it is, Enterprises probably, his salespeople are relentless, right? Relentless. They will call you and call, and I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of the high pressure sales tactics. I'm okay with the attempt to contact you thing, but then the sales tactics that go along with it, I'm not a big fan of. But that's the way that he does business, right? But his contacts, I'm going to keep calling you. I'm going to keep calling you. I'm going to keep calling you. Then I'm going to email you. Then I'm going to, I'm going to show up at your door. That's the next step. Expect that to happen next, right? Be relentless in your contact attempts, but not in your interactions with people, right? So over time, people that are successful found out, people that are successful in business always found out it took more than what they calculated. And anybody who's been super successful in business, I don't know of anybody that says, hey, this was easy. It was easy, right? Simple, but not easy, right? So one of the things that people do is they set out and they say, this is my target, right? This is my target. I'm going to sell 5 houses a month. I'm going to sell 3 houses a month, 2 houses a month, 1 house a month, whatever it is, whatever that number is. I'm going to have $1 bazillion in sales, whatever it is. And then when things start being harder than they thought they were going to be, and they're like, oh man, you know what? I can't sell 5 houses a month. Let me change that number, right? I can't sell 200 widgets. I can't whatever. And so what do? They lower the target. They say, okay, well, you know what? But maybe I couldn't do 5, but I can do 2, right? The 10x rule assumes this is one of the basic premises of the 10x rule is that you never reduce a target. Instead, you increase your actions, right? When you start rethinking your targets, when you start making up excuses, when you start letting yourself off the hook, then you're giving up, right? He says you're giving up on your dreams, right? You're giving up on your dreams. Those actions are indication that you're getting off track. The 10x rule assumes that the target is never the problem, right? Any target attacked with the right actions in the right amounts with persistence is attainable, right? You got to look at any target attacked with the right actions in the right amounts with persistence is attainable, right? It doesn't mean that you can do it yourself, right? If your target was, to sell a million widgets, well, you might need more salespeople, right? You might need more salespeople. That's part of the right actions, right? Would be more people. There are some limitations to life, right? But that's part of the preparation, right? That's part of the preparation. It's part of being, it's part of being prepared to not hit your target for 36 months instead of 3 months, right? If you get out there and you start saying things like the market's not right, the economy's not right, the blah blah blah, guess what? People are still selling. The economy is what it is. interest rates are what they are, and there are people out there that are still selling houses. Right? There are people out there that are still selling houses. If you start listening to the media, right? The market's not ready. The economy's bad. There's no market for this. I'm not cut out for this. I set my goals too high. Our targets were unrealistic. Most likely, it is simply a matter of the fact that you have incorrectly, you did not correctly assess the amount of action necessary, right? No matter what the economy, no matter what the timing, no matter what the product, no matter how big your project is, the right acts done to the right degree over time will make you successful, right? And so the number one thing that you need to get into here, right? You need to assume that every project that you're going to attempt is going to take more time, more money, more energy, more people than you originally imagined, right? Whatever expectation you have, multiply it by 10. That's the 10x, right? Whatever expectation you have, multiply that by 10, and you're probably going to be safe. How many people do you need to talk to find somebody that's ready to buy a house? Multiply that by 10. Right? How many people do you need to find that are ready to buy a house that are actually going to buy a house? Multiply that by 10. Right? How much money are you going to have to spend on advertising? I say money, but there are, it's either money or time, right? Your shoe leather, your effort, right? That can work too, but multiply it by 10, right? And he says right here, don't be pessimistic, right? Don't go out, oh, I can't. Don't be pessimistic. Just be prepared, right? Tackle your project with the 10x rule in mind, like your life depends on it, right? Like your life depends on it. If you're going to do something, by golly, get out there and do it like your life depends on it. Manage every action as though you have a camera on you every step of the way. And always remember to follow through completely, right? Always remember to follow through completely, right? Success doesn't just happen. It doesn't just happen. Now here we can go back to the book we just read, but here's what Grant Cardone says. It is the result of relentless, proper actions taken over time, right? So Grant Cardone says that success is the result of relentless, proper actions taken over time. Jeff Olson said, success is the result of seemingly insignificant actions done consistently over time, right? It's the same thing. It's the same thing, different words, right? Seemingly inconsequential. Is that what I said? I might have said inconsistent. Inconsequential. Seemingly inconsequential actions done consistently over time is what leads you to the slight edge, either up or down, right? Seemingly inconsequential. That one little donut every day versus an apple, a yogurt, whatever the case may be, right? I'm not the best person to talk to about that. So anyway, the 10X rule by Grant Cardone. Are you ready? Are you ready to take 2024 to the next level, right? If you started yesterday, right? 10 times. What did you do yesterday? What did you put towards your business? What kind of effort did you put towards your business? Did you put 1x effort or did you put 10x effort? Right? I hope it was 10x effort. Anyway, that's it for today. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for chapter 3 of the 10x rule by Grant Cardone. And we will get out there and let's tear 2024 up. What do you say? Get out there, make today the best day of your life so far. We'll see you tomorrow.